LFY's turn to ban. Dire team ban. LFY's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
Welcome back to the Perfect World Masters live from Shanghai. We're back prematurely, perhaps a little bit earlier than planned, but that's because the players have decided that the draft is something they wanted to get into. So we're going to drop you into it right away alongside our panel members. I just want to quickly highlight as well with you guys, we just got news in our ears that Kingwin have won the opening game against Newbie. That's a bit of a surprise, frankly.
It is. It's a European team that I think not a lot of people would be familiar with. I had the pleasure to cast a lot of their qualifiers coming into this.
Yeah, I hear you're an honorary Polish citizen now.
I love it. That's sure, why not? I'm happy to do it, man. I've been to Poland before. It's a beautiful country.
It is.
But I think that a lot of people wouldn't be expecting it, but they are an incredibly talented team, and beating the TI runner-up, it's not a bad way to show up on your first land.
Yeah, we'll see whether they get maximum points. It's over on the second stream if you want to have that in dual side-by-side glorious Dota 2 action as we come live from Shanghai. First pick in this time round. The Ogre has returned for complexity.
So this is a hero that they banned in the first game that LFY has picked quite a bit, and a hero that's back to increasing in popularity, and so they're going to go take that away.
Yeah. They've banned the Wisp this time as well. They may have beaten them, but they were still annoyed by it.
Oh, now it's their turn.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I really like this opening from LGD.Forever Young.
Whoa.
Immediately into this.
Okay.
So the Tiny Omni are just, it's kind of like, what are the most disgusting heroes of this patch so far? And that's what they've decided to go with here at the start. And then the Razor, we've seen Razor a lot against like Omni Knight, or just against some of these melee cores. He just makes the lane very difficult to deal with. So when you pick that Razor, I mean, you're already thinking like, he's probably gonna get a good lane matchup somewhere. Yeah. Wherever he goes. So
yeah, I think even the construction staff here at the arena were surprised by that tiny Omni Knight. They probably heard that in the background.
They're falling over. They can't handle it.
They're just falling off all the ladders. And then an Ogre Razor, and it was an instant Razor as well for coL.
I think that they were expecting this opening, maybe. I think that when you play against people this much, you start to build up that anticipation of what's going to happen. I think Razor's pretty good against Omni Knight as well, because if you go for a solo GA, you can purge that off with his passive. Those things start to work, and of course, just stealing damage away is pretty solid as well. So I like the opening, I think, though, for LGD.Forever Young a little bit more. It's more like strong meta heroes.
Well, again, going back to that theme that teams always have, right? Like, in a lot of ways, the meta is what the stronger teams are picking and winning with. So you develop that own style, people have to react to you. You then become the ones who define the meta, and I think that's the ideal hope for every team to reach, as we see their Inflame and Afu.
What a bunch of cool guys.
They all, was it? Yeah, I think they all got fined for that Super instance. The Super got docked a month's pay, and I think everyone else, plus the managers and the coach, lost a half month's pay or something in that instant.
So what was it that exactly happened? Because I know he GG'd out because he was upset, right?
Yeah. So they went to they weren't together on land. They went to a different location because I think it was applying for the Macau visa to be able to. It's not really a visa, but you need a pass if you're in China to get to. So they're applying for that, and they're separated, and they got really tilty and upset, and they just GG'd out. And then, LGD came out and was like, "We've got to announce some fines," and then that's what the punishments ended up being for that.
Well, they ban out the Quap, the Storm, those mobile mid heroes. I'm kind of interested to see if LGD.Forever Young want to take the Tiny to a different lane. I don't think that they want to run it mid, personally. I think Monet, I think I've seen him actually play it a couple of times, like a year ago or something.
Which one, sorry?
Monet? I could be wrong about that.
Monet playing what, sorry?
Tiny. It wouldn't have been recently.
No, definitely, last 3 months, not anything in current set.
But Witch Doctor also taken. I like this hero. I don't know if it's going to be... it's sort of weird because they don't know what the offlane hero is, but Witch Doctor is pretty much able to zone out anybody as long as he's got some decent help there. Just really strong laning hero.
Yeah, they usually play it as a 5.
LFY's turn to
Enchantress.
Oh.
So this is another, I don't know, not just region, but almost I feel like an NA special in recent months at least. You've seen people use it.
CIS shuffle.
Oh, that's right. That's right. VP, my bad.
CIS always in
10
judgment.
seconds remaining.
You see it against like Vipers or something
5
like that for a little
seconds
bit, and in this case, again, like I don't know, maybe this is you're seeing like different answers to Tiny, right, or different solutions to Tiny, maybe either as support or a core in one of the lanes, and maybe this is one of them as well.
I mean, if anybody would know what it would be Limp. That's for sure. That guy plays it all the freaking time. But yeah, I think Enchantress seems pretty good here. I would imagine this would be a Z-Freak hero. And then you start running around afterwards, try and gank mid a couple times. They could end up running at Moo also. Who is it that's been playing Enchantress all over the place in NA recently? They're playing it off lane. I don't know.
Are you thinking of like Mason?
I'm thinking of
or something?
General, actually. No, is Navi who's playing it a lot.
Yeah, CIS again.
Yeah.
So slider. Okay.
There's a pretty good natural synergy. He's also offers like if you have a super defensive support like Witch Doctor, and then you have an
10
offlaner who also
seconds
really isn't like that sort of a tempo like initiator, then
5
you want
seconds
something like
remaining.
that usually in your lineup. Otherwise, it becomes very unbalanced. So having Starter who can fill that role, and then you have the synergy as well. So it's a solid pickup there.
Are they going to be able to punish or like try and go for a dual lane type of thing at all? Because it doesn't feel like it's that like easy to try and contest an Ogre's lane. If Ogre just runs mid and makes sure that whoever's there has a really good time. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like what the Slardar is going to do early game, because he's going to be going against like either a Razor in the safe lane or probably an Ogre sitting
10
mid.
seconds
I
remaining.
don't really know if Slardar is going to do that much early.
It could be part of a strong duo. If you have him with like the
5
Omni Knight
seconds
and the safe lane is like their lane they're up against is a bit weak. It's actually pretty bullying to have those two together.
Time we would just
Dire
Yeah, I
team
think so.
ban.
Maybe they'll go next level and just like anchor smash mid against Tiny.
What did you make of his tusk in the last game, by the way?
I didn't like the Meteor Hammer.
No one liked that.
The most
No.
polarizing
No one
item
liked
in
that.
Dota.
No one in the room liked that anyway.
Yeah.
10
What are you going to do?
seconds
Bash
remaining.
heroes?
But his early game was amazing.
Yeah.
That was really solid. A
5
couple of his
seconds
rotations with the
remaining.
shards and everything felt very, very strong.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just became very ineffective towards the end,
yeah.
late game.
And like he was level 11 when the PA was 8. He was up there
Yeah,
with
yeah.
everybody
I
else.
think that Cat was sat next to me and he said it's very rare that you would look at a game and go, yeah, Moo's the issue here,
Yeah.
right? Because at points he was, and weird because he's such a reliable player.
Well, and I didn't want to like hate on it too much, because I think the idea with the Meteor Hammer was like, all right, we want to be able to help take those towers a little bit quicker, but I did feel like he kind of, it became a bit of a, not a liability, but that he wasn't able to do as much saving as they might have wanted. TA taken.
So speaking of heroes that we've
Some real mix of heroes here, though, for complexity. Not the kind of popularist heroes that we're used to seeing.
10 seconds.
They don't have many
remaining.
stuns. Like they have just basically Fire Blast, which isn't that
5
great.
seconds remaining.
I mean, I guess if they're not very effective against Tiny, then it's okay. But I kind of feel like I really like LGD.Forever Young's draft.
that buffed trap damage though.
I don't know, man. I think DP's a great pick here. Razor's probably just going to get eaten alive later on. I don't know. I think LGD.Forever Young has this. I really like their draft, and it's Monet Tiny again.
I think Razor used to be seen as a decent matchup against Death Prophet, but in this case, I mean, I think the Razor will have a decent matchup. It's gonna be hard for them to be able to find these fights unless they can get to 5-man early. And like again, that's what this team does. Probably more as like a signature preference than almost anybody else. So they're gonna need to do that. They're gonna have to find live tempo with the Enchantress. They're gonna have to push behind the tide early on if they want to win this game.
You still fancy LFY to take this into?
I think so. After watching game 1. I think
Okay.
I think LFY handles the details very well. I think, well, I don't want to say this like as a region in general, but again, like these teams are very polished, just in general, like Chinese teams compared to some of the.
Are
teams
you
that might be-
saying North American teams aren't, Jack?
Well, maybe I don't know.
You're
It's,
tearing
maybe
his
it's a
heart
little bit
away.
inconsistent sometimes.
He's
Are you
on a
gonna
North
stand for
American
that?
team. He's on a North American team, and then he's like from China. He's like, you know, it's his parents choosing between a divorce or something.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck there a little bit, isn't he? Like we'll pull him apart afterwards. Time to hand you over to our commentary team for game number 2. Complexity down by a game, but not all is lost because a draw would mean the teams split the points. Let's find out how it get on in game number 2.
Well, it's so obvious now, Blitz. Obviously, the rust-covered Americans are incapable of winning this game, and LFY will take game 2.
What? I don't agree with that. Mainly because you just called what, rust-covered Americans?
Yeah? Hey, I'm just listening to our analyst desk, man. That's what Jack was going for.
Jack said that, man.
I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're watching. Well, we can get our tetanus shots later as America can get cured. Complexity.
30 seconds to battle.
See, this is
Bringing in the Enchantress, bringing in the Tide, bringing the new and improved Templar Assassin. Okay, not that improved, but
it's kind of cool. The bonus damage from the traps is like it's cute.
it's that it's the timing as well, right? Timing to actually get to max. I
Yeah.
think that also got changed.
I actually haven't played the new TA yet.
The battle
But you haven't had really that many opportunities to.
No, too many
Patch only
events.
came out last night. Already a bit of a rune contest. As Moo and Kyle try and force them out, but LFY win the 3 bounty rune game at least.
There's 1 bounty room left. Oh.
Yeah, Kyle's coming back for it.
That's crazy that tree grab doesn't cost that much mana. Like only 20? That's nothing.
Would you like to nerf it? It's not like having an Aghanims at level 1, right?
Yeah, it's not the same. As
Oh.
mid, super. This is like pretty trademark for him.
Dire's top
If there's a
tower
hero
is
that I
under
associate
attack.
with him aside from his DK, it's his DP. The D heroes.
And Inflame is really pulling this creep wave hard. Z-Freak can't chase it much further. Oh, there's Tree Toss. And the Melon will be cracked in the bottom lane.
That is an unexpected first blood, especially since Tidehunter, like one of the tankier offlaners, but he has Gush level 1. So no Kraken Shell, no tank.
It's like he's trying to work. Like they are pretty. Like, well, I don't want to say they're big boned on that bottom lane with the 2 heroes, Kyle and Moo together.
Yeah, but they don't have that tankiness yet on that Tidehunter. Like, it's not through his stats, which are pretty good. I mean, 600 HP is nothing to sneer at. But this Tiny's rocking 900, Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. He's a real hero, you know. Like,
Oh, the tree toss. That's gotta hurt. Just getting a giant tree tossed into your face every so often.
you know, this is why you need a Timbersaw against the Tiny.
Nah.
Just take away the trees.
What you should be able to do is like, there should be an option to eat the tree in the air, like tango it, if you're really fast.
Are you gonna go for like a skill grab on the tree?
Yeah, if you're, that's how you take Dota to the next level. It's like, if you really want to be skilled, you should give people the ability to just like tango.
Well, that's
while
when
it's
you have like
midair.
calling blades. Like you're trying to recreate like an action sequence like with Wolverine, where you just like pop your claws out and just like slice it in 2 when it flies at you.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, it wouldn't be probably like realistic and stuff, but it's like, come on, what's realistic about this game? Like, a tiny man is like holding up a tree and like chucking it at people after using it as like a weapon a few times. Anything's possible.
Yeah, there's so many things in this game too which like don't match up as well. Like
Yeah.
how many abilities are magical, which you're like, man, I'm fairly certain that's a physical attack.
Yeah, like the balance alone makes no sense. He is so small. He struggles to carry it. There's no way that he's able to get like the momentum to swing it.
I hear little people can achieve big things.
True. And he's like, you know, he's gonna get bigger
Yeah,
over time.
he'll grow up.
And
Z-Freak trying to have a little bit more fun with Inflame, DDC. Yeah, she kind of got attacked before by Z-Freak and brought down pretty low thanks to that Sata. Having an easy Hadouken.
in mid
Slaughter, bottom lane. They're going to have another bit of a play around.
Yeah, Afu just wants to use his stun because he got an arcane rune. But he also doesn't want to commit too hard for it because
He's gonna
Nice
get all
guy.
the Venom gushed up and then have a hard time getting away.
Yeah, that's really throwing me off, that gush level one. But it's okay.
With
The
no
lane's been
Kraken.
recovered.
You can't get much more space because the Ogre is... Okay, the Ogre's actually backed off now, so he does have the space to hit 3.
And Monet even using 3, getting some denies. It like gently he like brushes you with it.
Sounds like a rustling bark.
Yeah,
Like when he like stutter attacks.
I'm obsessed with this hero. It's just so cool. Mid lane, super. Gonna get denied up. Now it's good. Hal's trying to come mid. Brass things up a little bit, make things easier for your TA, who is kind of getting crushed in this mid lane so far. Difference of 300 gold so far.
They're waiting to attack. Spirit Slam is going to begin. Here comes the Paralyzing Cask. Are they going to get a good bounce? Oh, it's going to stick on Kyle. And here
Very
comes
nice
Alsbu.
bounce.
So quick, slithering forward. Not even required, but the Crush will connect into Limp. There is one lane and one hero we haven't even talked about yet, and it almost feels like a TC kind of style hero for an American side. Razor safe lane.
That is a name that I haven't heard quite some time, but yes.
TC.
Yeah. This Razor has gone relatively uncontested. Tops in net worth. We saw the Razor Omni weird matchup in the other game, the SG one, as the Razor pretty much free farms against it. Like, Omni can't really do too much. For the most part, you're just like spamming out your heals when you can, and Z-Freak even making this aggressive rotation in, Witch Doctor doesn't quite have cast yet though.
Oh, Moo. Trouble for him on bottom lane, and well, I say that Monet no longer has his tree, so GG.
Yeah, with no tree.
But this Paralyzing Cast making it very difficult for Z-Freak to at least get the initiation that he wants. He's not losing his creeps to it.
Yeah. He's just gonna fire in. Creep Shockwave, but
Yeah. This is the type of hero I just love to have complexity pick for Z-Freak. Something which is able to really dictate the game and showcase his skill as a player.
yeah, where do you rate him, Toby?
Z-Freak?
Big fan?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Z-Freak. I'd love to see what he could do if he's on like another team at some point too.
Hold that thought, man.
I will hold that thought for about, well, I don't know, until Swindles dies, because they're never going to disappear. Like, they're never going to separate.
Afu, pausing the game. Probably another tech.
Kali.
Some lag. I think that this squad, though, can have a lot of success. They probably just, like, haven't quite gotten over that hump yet, like, because things are, like, pretty good for them, but...
Something is wrong somewhere.
they're a good team. They got 4th, I think, when they played what was that event? Like Star Ladder? They just like haven't quite put it all together yet, but I don't know if they're that far away from doing so.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of tournaments, a lot of room to grow, and they got a lot of time to do it.
Yes, sir. So far in this one, it's been a rough start for them.
Yeah, like that's also like the worst game one you can think of, right? Like you've wonderfully shut down a PA, and then you give just one free kill on top, which gives a little bit of strength, but then it's the triple kill that came directly after that. It's like, okay, well, we kind of missed our window. We had our IO Tiny. We lost with the IO Tiny. And now LFY are going to play the Tiny against them. I'm hoping mentally Complexity can stay on top of things. They are a very emotional team. Any team with Kyle, of course, does go down that line. They're very good at riding the wave of winning. It's one of those times when I never really want to like doubt Complexity. It's like the way I used to doubt MVP, and then I learned not to.
Oh, that was hilarious.
You wouldn't stop giving me crap about that.
I mean, because it was just a funny situation, man. Sometimes you got to be wrong about stuff. And that was godlike. I'm gonna tell that story sometime. That was good.
You've told that story a couple of times already, I think.
Yeah. Set the stage. Just TI4, VP. You know, the Koreans are finally coming up. Toby said they've got 0 chance at beating VP. And I said, Toby, I'm not sure, man. I told him they beat DK in some scrims, and he said, whoever told you that is lying. They've got 0 shot. But, you know, miracles happen.
Yeah. I always, like, it's always a double-sided edge. Like, I'm happy to be wrong, mainly because when it comes to the cast, I actually am legitimately surprised. So emotion equal pure.
But the thing is, what both these teams, like, they don't have. I mean, they've got some standout players, but for the most part, like LFY and Complexity, they kind of base things more on teamwork. Like both these sides, they don't have that like superstar player necessarily. They're just like solid across the board, and they make that work. And I think that's really cool to see, like the value of hard work, where it brings teams like this. Like both these teams for me, like mirror in that sense. I mean,
So, I actually look for like the highlight players from both these teams, and then the support players that do the work, and then it just gels everything else together. Like Arfu and Z-Freak for me, like they just do so much for both of their sides.
that's a crazy looking tight set.
You would think you'd have back problems, right?
I think it's okay.
You'd also think you'd have legal problems. I think
No.
Bioshock would like their intellectual property back.
It's the weirder thing is like just the balance of like holding that giant thing up. The tree, clearly gravity doesn't like apply very well in the game.
Well, how else would you do it? Like there was the bug with the tiny with one of Tiny's cosmetics where it'd make him look like he was just sliding on his side when he'd move forward, which would be accurate.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, is that one way to balance the tree? Limp, well, he's in trouble. Super as well as DDC. Now you got defensive refraction, but Super, he's still got more. Siphons up his sleeve, Limp under the tower. DDC, did he grab the aggro in time? Now the troll trap is here. You've got Z-Freak's rotation. Super, not anything else left in the tank. He'll go down to Z-Freak. And the carrying Enchantress is on her way.
And that's a very big pickup for them. If they get nothing out of that, very unfortunate, but instead they do get the return kill. It goes on the Enchantress, player that you did want to see, Z-Freak.
Now they're going to go for Moo. God damn, Monet. He's still hitting so hard now with the avalanche toss. So is this the kind of when you pick up a tree, your movement speed should be slowed because obviously your weight has increased?
No, if anything, it makes you go faster. So you're not really able to see where you're going, so you're just like tipping forward.
Forward momentum, nice rooting, and a heavy amount of damage in for Chessie. Purification will not save in Flame there.
Very well done so far by Complexity. At the same time, Gold Bleed still in favor of LFY. But this Razor has gone untouched. And a better hero overall for Chessie to be able to scale. That last game, it felt like it was inevitability for them to lose once the Tiny died. This time around, he's got a hero that can equally scale with his brother. As
they want to go again on bottom. Moo. Oh, Moo. Into the trees. Arfu's going to get that climb up. Not going to happen.
very nice juke as he makes it away. Round.
Iron Flame. Ignite's going to try and slow him down. So you have the movement speed. He does to get back at 312. Reaches the tier 2 tower. And the safety of the coconut of DDC. Super again. That is just a graphical glitch. He is actually spirit siphoning the Templar Assassin.
So far, so good. They're going to make their way around top. They know that this Omni Knight doesn't have repel.
He actually stopped for a second. The troll backed up for a half moment. And they're trying to avoid the coconut doing the work. And Chessie, oh, he can just reach with that lightning whip.
217 damage a hit. He wants to push this tower right now. He wants to get some free hits on this tower. He's going to do so. Fort is instantly going to get popped as in mid. Trap, one after another.
I actually wonder how much pop damage you can do with your traps now. Oh, another attack. Creep Wave's having a hard time sticking up with Super. coL rotation in as well.
Fortune.
And nothing but stealing. Avalanche. Oh, it barely connects to Monet. But they can toss the watermelon like a salad. Move around the tree. Try and juke it out. Won't work. coL can't get there in time.
They're going to turn back around on this.
Oh, wow.
He's got stunned in 1 second.
And Monet, well, cut through. Picks up a tree. And now slapping in coL with the Malding and the paralyzing cast. He'll catch Chessie and Limp. Monet starts to TP out. A little bit more trouble for Arfu. He will fall.
But once again, they get the better trade of it, grabbing a core. At the same time, with that tier 1 tower being taking Complexity in an okay position as Chessie starting to rack up a lot of gold on himself. He's going to start this ancient camp with Limp. But Limp desperately needs something. He is quite far behind in this game right now. Not a lot of gold to his name, not a lot of farm. almost a full 1,000 net worth behind this Death Prophet. In fact, is so.
Well, his advantage is he's pretty good at farming up Ancients, even with 2 points up in side blades. But he needs the space to be created for this, and it's a little too obvious when no one is in the mid lane. And how long will it take before LFY just start forcing down buildings and restricting this area where they can farm? It's exactly what they're doing as they move towards the top lane under the cover of smoke. Prep work being done by Omni Knight to get in around the back.
That was like perfect timing here. Like, when will they go for it as soon as they smoked?
Yeah.
And now, Mu, who's absolutely been obliterated in this game.
They know where Z-Freak is. Afu. Oh, Z-Freak doesn't have a control creep. He's got a decent amount of regeneration, but with both Exorcism and Spirit Siphon, that's a hard place to survive.
Chessie, though, got a kill.
Yeah,
at that bottom
DDC.
lane. They went for the dive on the Witch Doctor, was successful, and I think they want to continue this with the Death Prophet ult expended. Mu.
Yeah, but they're going to lose top lane. Like, you've got Exorcism out. Mu just has his TP out, so a tier 1 tower on the top lane is guaranteed to go down on Complexity's side. Not so much in the bottom because Razor has no more of that stolen damage.
Yeah, and Super said very good use of his ultimate. Gets a kill. Softens up that tower. He's probably going to want to commit for this one.
Yeah.
With the TP out on the Tidehunter, very unlikely that they go for the defense of this.
There's also a new catapult wave arriving for LFY, so Inflame is able to just choke up the Complexity one.
Gold lead just going back and forth based on the towers. As once again it swings in LFY's favor as a result of this top tower being taken, but it's really quite close.
It just seems like, again, like we find ourselves in this position with Complexity where, like, obviously it happened later into game 1, but it's one hero who has most of the power. And that's coming from the Razor Templar Assassin with absolutely nothing. You've sacrificed on multiple lanes to ensure the Razors had a good start. How does this now pay off? Like, do you get utility items? Do you get the aggressive, like, well, he's going stat items with the S and Y?
Yeah, I think this is one of the better ways to keep up with the Tiny, who does have a very good base for move speed. And you just need these mid-game items to be able to kite, work your way around. EKB, not ultra effective this game.
No Blink Dagger for Tiny. He goes Shadow Blade. Finds
This is gonna be
Chessie.
a lot of damage with the
TP
amp.
support's coming in. There's the Avalanche toss. Afu needs to close the distance.
Look at this speed.
And now, toss it forward. Chessie, he is just so damn fast.
He's gonna toss
and
it.
no! Oh, he tosses in Afu! Well, this is why you need a Blink Dagger. You've got yourself.
Incoming.
Don't tell the elf.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gotta keep up with movie references. Tiny as Aragorn.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
That joke's never as good when you have to explain it.
Then what's the joke good, Toby? To begin with?
It was just not to you.
Joke was on Razor though, as he gets squashed by the weight of the Slardar.
Oh, now it's Moo's turn. Invis, Ravage available. It's difficult to kill on Super. Need a lot of extra help to come in. And Super, Spirit Siphon, one charges up. And here comes your paralyzing cast. Really nice Super! He lives through this for all the solid damage. TDC's down one. Chessie will pop to Maledict. Afu will take the experience. But the ultimate coconut.
Chessie just respawned for that, Toby. He just came back into the game. Consecutive deaths. Not the kind of start that they were exactly hoping for, as Complexity. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, boy.
Dying back-to-back like a core, especially in that fashion, that was supposed to be a very easy kill on the Death Prophet.
You can see it again with that start from Moo. They got the lockdown stuns, but he got his one charges off before Kyle actually hit him with the blast.
Yeah, and he even turns around for the second Spirit Siphon, barely keeps him alive. That final tick, 11 HP was how low he got. Even gets the kill on Mu to add insult to injury. DDC, such a great support player.
Right time, right place. His disruptor from game 1 was perfect.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing him again with probably like the double ulti hero.
Yeah. And now they're making their way around to mid. Monet has that tree available. Shadow bladed up. Chessie.
Got him. Purification Amplification damage is just, yeah.
Third death.
Welcome to Dota.
Yeah, third death in as many minutes, I think.
Is under attack.
Like,
Yeah, it may even be less than that. Like, it may even be like in 2, considering how fast it's all moved.
And despite that, I mean, gold lead is not really that favorable for LFY. Everybody is still doing a decent job of keeping up. I mean, that's largely on the fact that this Witch Doctor has 0 net worth, but with this Roshan, things are going to look a little bit different here. Super going to pop the Exorcism for it with the amplified damage. Not a whole lot Complexity can do, even if they were aware of this, and they are. They were sitting under a trap when they walked in there.
You want to jump in, however, like, you got a Blink Dagger over on a Slaughter who's just creating space. Amplifiers on Limp will crush him. It's more distraction. And Alfu can quickly get back now with the new changes for him just to, well, be even slipperier on wet.
When you make that aggressive move forward, Toby, everyone thinks that there are people behind you.
Yeah. It's like, wait, were they baiting Roshan? Monet doesn't have his Blink Dagger. He's only got that Shadow Blade to work with, but knows exactly where sort of knows exactly where Z-Freak is. Oops, got the wrong throw back, but it won't matter. That's the Observer Ward. Actually, was it? No, that was the Dire Observer Ward there. Radiant one was a little bit further north.
And that's only 1 level of Untouchable. So Tiny still swings pretty hard and pretty fast. That is not a very tanky Enchantress that we're used to seeing, and Inflame is starting to catch back up now as he gets gone on Limp with the Blink Dagger, makes his way forward, but this feels more like a desperation attempt.
There's extra help. You've got him rotating over, but that stun is not going to be in range. Inflame completes the TP before Ka can get in range for the Fire Blast.
Yeah, look at the cast range on that level 1 Fire Blast without the cast range talent. It's so unbelievably low. Another failed attempt for Complexity, who is still doing a very good job of keeping up as a result of just harming a lot of these Ancients. They're still shoving in the waves quite aggressively.
Yeah. But it's getting out of control when LFY are the ones dictating the pace of this game. And the Razor just can't stand. Like we talked about, like how great the start was for Razor. What then happens? Like, what items do you buy? What do you transition into? You die back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back, and that talk of transition doesn't exist anymore. It's like, how do I not die?
Well, at bottom, tower,
and Moo can't stop it.
Moo, I mean, we saw earlier today, it felt like Tidehunter was unkillable, but this Tidehunter,
yeah, he's very killable
fairly easily.
Well, he's just got no like stat items. Like Raindrops is the best protection he's got at the moment.
Yeah. In the other game that we saw, of course, he was quite farmed. Had a full pipe completed on himself. Not easy to take down whatsoever, but in this game, like you said, one of the easier heroes to deal with.
Really well moved by LFY there. They realize that the attack is coming in from Complexity. They actually put an Observer Ward down, I believe, when Complexity smoked. That's the Observer Ward just north of the Ancients of Complexity.
Right, starting to get into a fight with Moo. But pace of the game slowing down a little bit here.
Z-Freak, don't reveal yourself in mid. Oh, he's dead.
That's not for certain.
They had 2 coming from the north and 1 coming from the front.
There was a... Alright, there wasn't.
I even love the fact, like you have Z-Freak with his creep there. He doesn't even do it. It's like straight death ward.
Afu misses on the blink. Doesn't quite know where Limp is. As Limp melds, hides. Should be able to get out of here as Afu is still kind of looking around, seeing if there's an opportunity here to be made, but there isn't.
So the only safe place for the TA to be is just to go into LFY's jungle. Meanwhile, coL, like the second someone reveals himself in lane, they have to be worried. Like blink initiation, toss initiation. If you get amplified, then any of those stats, any of that extra armor you think you have to survive, it just doesn't exist. And Complexity have no answer to that. I say amplified just because I'm going old school. Mist or whatever it is now. Oh, there goes Alfu. That's one way to get rid of it. Yeah, Corrosive Haze.
Yes, and a very easy kill for them. But same time, Complexity, they need more than that. They need more than just the 4 position Slardar. The high ground, though, is taken by LFY. I think they're going to back out of this area. It's still a little bit scary for them to take these fights.
You do have Exorcism as well as Death Ward back up again, but there's no reason why you don't just regroup. Keep the lanes pressured out. But how far do you go? Like, do you just keep taking tier 2 towers? Do you try and force the fight while you have the Aegis the Immortal?
I think so. I don't know if you need to force anything too much, though. It's still scary. Like, if you get ravaged into the right kind of fight, the game can kind of reset. And in these 2-game series, it's very important that, you know, you clean up the game, make sure that you're going to win it. It's not like these best of 3s where it's like, okay, guys, we messed up in game 2. Let's kind of reset. We're still the better team than them. You only get 2 chances to prove it.
Well, here comes LFY, smoked up. Arfu and DDC. Support boys, ready to kill off that Razor. Paralyzing cast we thrown out, and the Baldic. They have enough damage, and he'll pop from this.
The on a killing spree with the exorcism.
Oh,
They
now
want
they fight
more.
Kyle. It's like, it's the cheese on the pizza right now. It just makes everything so tasty. Limp adding pressure to the bottom lane. Arfu does TP in. He'll get the crush off, canceling out the TP.
Oh no, he's amped up, and there's a tiny hunting him from behind. Limp
Cuts
no
through the
man's
trees.
land.
There's your avalanche. It burns through so many defensive reaction charges. And Z-Freak, he attacks from the tree lines, but there's not a lot he can really do. Defensive refraction
Blink in
back
one.
up for Limp, and he blinks. But Arfu, the toss! Oh, there's no way to escape. How do you run away from this?
Death by 1,000 cuts. To
Or
add
splinters
insult
in this
to
case.
Yep. He throws that purification on for good measure as move. Haste it up, but be dispelled immediately by that Yule Scepter. And I think he's just reluctant to use his Ravage because, Toby, if you use a Ravage once in this game and it fails and you lose the fight, then there goes a lot of your hope. Like, that's the only thing I think holding LFY back from just, like, straight up going for it.
Oh, they're just going to kill him off the old-fashioned way then, move. Okay, maybe not. Kraken is too good. Yule Scepter up. DDC's got Paralyzing Cast available. Tosses it out. Now the Baldic once more. Again, Corrosive Haze. They can just chain these really low cooldown and low mana cost abilities to get the picks when Complexity are out of position. Now no Ravage for 42 seconds because no Tidehunter for that long.
Don't even need Exorcism.
Tower has fallen.
That's even scarier. Maybe that's the other reason too. You understand the second you lose the Tide Ravage, then you lose high ground.
Yes.
If Exorcism is up, and then that Aegis Immortal is also available, like it's mid-racks. And Complexity aren't even coming back. They're actually letting their mid-racks fall. Templar
they have
Assassin
to.
is nearby, but they take the trade-off on the top.
There's absolutely no chance that they can fight that without their Tidehunter. They couldn't fight it.
They jump in. Lee said no chance, but they're giving it a crack anyway. Limp's almost down. Limp is down. He won't buy back. They've already lost their melee racks. They just need some kind of consolation prize. But afterwards, that box of chocolate, he'll go down to Chessie. But you've lost your mid lane of racks. You claimed a tier 1 tower up on top and some decent damage to the tier 2. But your TA died for a slaughter on top.
Yeah, not gonna feel good about that trade. Well, maybe you are, because they are. The nature of the game is they're down 9,000 gold. Trading a core for a support doesn't seem that bad anymore.
And you didn't blow Ravage to get the counter kill.
Yeah, you probably get another attempt at this, but it's got to be a good Ravage, Toby.
Yeah, it's got to be around Roshan as well. They need LFY in a choke point.
Yeah.
And if they give both Aegis and Cheese over to LFY in the next fight, then it looks to be done. Like, you're going to Ravage pop somebody, fantastic. Unless you got like 500 billion stolen damage in Chessie, you aren't going to win that fight. Now Chessie gets initiated on move. There's your Ravage, but Monet, he was repelled up. He didn't actually get touched at all, but Moon touched all over. 2 heroes down for Complexity, and now tossed forward in the Omni Knight, slowing down Z-Freak. Degen Aura, reduce the range, doesn't matter when you got Tosby right on top of him. And now the follow-up into Ogre Magi. Through the layers of fat which protects him from the cold. Arfu, such a quick fish, right behind the Ogre Magi. And Super coming in with the Exorcism. 4 heroes from Complexity here will die. Kyle is making him work for it though. But the push is moving towards the bottom tier 2 tower. So Arfu and DDC can work together to kill off Kyle. Unless he can deny himself to something.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Anything?
Another stun is gonna land. The trap is there too. That's also
nice.
gonna connect. It's gonna make things a little bit more difficult as Kyle.
What is this run?
I have no idea. There's 2 heroes that are just slowly chasing him. Nobody.
Eventually it works against him though, because Arfu...
He's out of mana now.
Yeah, okay, he's out of mana and Arfu is out of range, so we can't keep any ability on him, so the Blink Dagger comes off cooldown and he closes the distance and kill happens. But a good minute. A good minute wasted.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was sick. He resets things a little bit. They were trying to go for that bottom push right after, but they were unable to do so. Maybe they still make it work anyways, but Super doesn't have that exorcism anymore.
Dire's bottom shrine.
LFY would love a pickup before they go up again. But you do actually have that timer, right? Like, you just wait for the next...
Oh, for sure. You can wait for the next
Roshan.
Yeah. You have Slardar Amp. Roshan's always a possibility for your team, and you do it quickly too. I think in the last game it looked a little bit awkward for Complexity because they themselves had some difficulties going for Roshan.
Yep.
But LFY, they've got no issues doing it. Team with Slardar is always going to have the ability to do it.
Did I just see that wrong? Was that a heart coming onto the Tiny? Or was that Death Prophet? It's Tiny. Yeah, Tiny has a heart lined up.
Yeah, he's got it queued up. He just was like, if I don't get bursted, this fight kind of ends. And we saw how difficult it was for them to get the burst anyways. That was a pretty good Ravage. But even with that, they weren't able to kill anybody.
It just seems so sad that like you get the Ravage off, but you understand like someone's going to be repelled. In that case, it was the Tiny. Like, Tiny was free just to beat the crap out of everybody, and now in Flames, caught out, Complexity. They have the damage.
Very nice kill for them. And now it's going to be Complexity who finally get a core kill. Desperately needed that to make something happen on the map right now. It's Toby.
Yeah, they're coming for the tier 1. Money. Momentum.
Yeah, anything counts at this point.
Yep.
When you're down 12,000 gold and you're not even sure that you're going to win the late game, it's pretty important that you win these mini engagements at least.
Seems like a fantastic lane as well to get that with the movement of Shrine a little bit further back. Complexity remove that front TP position of LFY to contest this Roshan. Now this is the moment they fight for. Chessie does not have his Storm available. She discards the Super, comes in close, Ravage removed, catching the back line. Have they got enough damage to kill that Death Prophet? No! She'll get the Yaw Scepter off the Paralyzing Cast, bouncing through Roshan. Chessie will have to buy back into this fight, but Super and DDC, they're cleaning up the rest of Complexity. Roshan is low, and they're going for the mid. Afu, he wants Limp. Meld, hiding. They know exactly where he is. Ping, 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 ping. Silence, and now bring him out of it. No. Meld, toss. How many AoE abilities have you got left? Crush? Okay, you got enough of them. You'll get through them.
They finally bring him down.
Oh, they got more. They actually rooted Chessie. This will be a dive back from Chessie. Tossing in Super. Closing the distance, and that should be the game. 70 seconds without the Razor. You don't even need Roshan now, and they're going for the tier 4 towers. They understand they got this game firmly shoved in the bag. Ignore the pips on the counter board. LFY, they got game 1, and they're looking to take this series 2-0.
Yeah, without a buyback available on the Razor, a little bit too much momentum loss as Limp is going to buy back. There's no Ravage. They're still going to try to make the play forward as Afu is going to be their target, but nobody being brought down right now. Z-Freak.
If they can defend this, if they can make him waste time, Lip can kill off Afu in the back lines. Kyle, he's fighting underneath his own fountain. He's trying to survive this, but Monet, he doesn't give 2 hoots on that Tiny. He'll catch out more. They got the Paralyzing Cast out. TA still on the run. Moo trying to reduce that damage with the Anchor Smash, but it doesn't stop Monet with his Avalanche Toss combination. 4 heroes gone, and so is the game for Complexity. LFY, it was a wonderful showing in the second half of Game 1, and Game 2, it was a beautiful display.
This was very dominant. 27 minutes, a very short one. LGD absolutely cleaning house with Complexity. They're saying to themselves, like, we'll show you how Tiny's... Like, we'll show you that we're the team that's going to make Tiny look OP.
Yep. Not only did they kill off the IO Tiny, they then made the Tiny work just by himself.
They're like, no, this hero's fine. It was just you guys.
Yeah, we didn't need to...
That's brutal.
that was pretty savage, man. But the man who is the king of savage